Taco Tuesday just got a lot more exciting. See why several Latino restaurants in Los Angeles are offering special multi-course meals.
Feeling the pressure to get a job this summer, a Trojan alum shares how she took an unexpected career path.
And a trip to the theme park this summer may feel closer to normal. Find out about California's new plan for a statewide reopening. Annenberg TV News starts now.
Live from USC, you're watching Annenberg TV News.
We are announcing today that on June 15th, we will be moving beyond the blueprint and we'll be getting rid of the colored tiers. We'll be moving past the dimmer switch. We'll be getting rid of the blueprint as you know it today.
Today, Governor Gavin Newsom announced a full reopening of California by June 15th. Good evening, I'm Lauren Teruya reporting from Hawaii.
And I'm Noah Camras reporting from outside of Wallace Annenberg Hall. Governor Gavin Newsom says everyday activities will resume in June, but the mask mandate will not be lifted. The June 15th date is not set in stone. The plan depends on two main factors. One, there must be a sufficient number of vaccines for all eligible Californians, and two, there must be a low rate of hospitalizations for COVID-19.
We're seeing death rates, mortality rates go down. We're seeing case rates stabilize. We have the lowest case rates in the United States of America. Over a 7-day period now, we have a 1.6% positivity rate statewide.
Newsom said that by early May, vaccines could be available to all California residents. As California's vaccine rollout continues, the federal government is trying to reach underserved communities across the state. One pop-up vaccine site in Crenshaw is trying to vaccinate more Black residents. This FEMA-run site vaccinates between 250 and 700 people per day, despite high levels of vaccine hesitancy in the Black community. We spoke to a FEMA officer who explained why the line here keeps growing.
Here we have never experienced vaccine hesitancy. It just hasn't happened. We see line after line every day. And I think that people feel comfortable because they're seeing their neighbors or seeing their family members all getting vaccinated. And it's been, it's been very successful, for us here. And having the community-based organizations brings that coordination piece that we need as whole government.
Residents who get the vaccine at this site will be receiving the Johnson & Johnson shot.
The effects of social media continue to spark debate. A new study found that exposure to hate speech on social media has substantially increased over the past 2 years. The study conducted by Hope Lab, an organization that supports the health and happiness of teens, found 67% of young people witness body shaming on social media, 65% witness racism and sexism, and 61% witness homophobia.
I've had so many people just DM me, calling me a hard R or different things to scare me out of speaking out because they didn't appreciate what I had to say, and people would just make burner accounts and do it, so that it couldn't be traced back to them, because it's the easiest way of being able to speak out without having to deal with the repercussions for speaking out.
I wasn't surprised at all that young people reported more instances of things like hate speech online this year, especially compared to our last survey in 2018. A lot of that is because the online world became a lifeline for so many young people in particular this year.
Despite the negativity, many young people actually benefit from social media, using it to express themselves, to get inspiration and support from others, and to feel less alone. The U.S. Surgeon General will join Dean Willow Bay Thursday afternoon for a conversation about young people using digital devices and media to manage mental health.
A proposed project to create temporary shelters for unhoused people in some LA West Side neighborhoods is being met with both positive and negative reactions. Los Angeles City Council member Mike Bonin's plan includes safe camping and tiny homes in some county beach parking lots. These include Will Rogers State Beach, Dockweiler Beach, and Fisherman's Village in Marina del Rey. But neighbors don't think this is a solution to the county's housing crisis.
I don't think they're safe for my 1 and 2 year old kid. He's, that being across the street from us. I don't think they're safe for the people living there. I'm not going to say, oh my God, they should have figured something out by now. I just don't think this is it. We need to help them. So how do we help them? I don't know, right? Like, this is a much bigger conversation, and definitely something above my pay grade. But I want to be involved in it. I want to try to find a solution that makes sense long term.
These pallet housing communities, there is a feeling of safety and dignity when you're there, and I think that they can breathe. And if you can breathe, you can take a second to make a plan. And these plans are leading to long-term solutions. Right now is the time to be creative. And if there is available space, I would hope that every councilman would start being creative and looking to see in their council district, what can we do?
The plan awaits feedback from the City Council Homelessness and Poverty Committee.
Arkansas finds itself at the center of a growing debate over medical care for transgender children. I'm Emily Bonilla reporting from Altadena. The Arkansas legislature voted to override a veto by Governor Asa Hutchinson on a bill that would ban gender-affirming treatment for transgender young people. Both the State House and Senate voted to override the governor's veto a day after he described it as, quote, government overreach. The so-called SAFE Act, Save Adolescents from Experimentation, bars doctors from providing gender-affirming health care to transgender minors even with their parents' consent. Banned procedures include puberty blockers, hormone therapy, and transition-related surgeries. An LGBTQ+ rights activist in Little Rock says the law will lead to a rise in mental health problems in the trans community.
My message to every senator, representative who voted to override that veto and voted for the bill initially, the blood of these trans kids is going to be on your hands. And that's just a reality. There's still so much work to be done. And if we all leave, then what about the people that can't leave? It's just going to get worse for them. Trans people are beautiful, trans people are sacred, and trans people are powerful, and we're still going to do the work. We're still going to show up for these kids.
The law will take effect in late July at the earliest. The American Civil Liberties Union plans to challenge the measure before then. To support and donate to the young transgender community in Arkansas, head to @Car4AR and @Young Trans Women's Project on Instagram.
Today marks the first day of Dine Latino Restaurant Week, which is aimed at helping LA County Latino-owned businesses. The Latino Restaurant Association is hoping to help owners open back up. Dine Latino Week runs through April 11th and again September 28th to October 3rd. According to a recent UCLA study, PPP funds were difficult for the Latino community to access. A local restaurant owner says she's happy for the help.
In this community, we have a lot of local businesses, no franchise, besides your McDonald's or Jack in the Box. And so how can we help them get to this next level? So when this movement of gentrification, which is what's happening right now, that they can stay afloat and we can have them here for more years, years to come. So I just want everyone to kind of understand that it is hard, but I think with the support of each other, we can definitely make it happen and just stay alive during these times.
The main goal of that program is to highlight the inequities that have hit Black and Brown businesses, particularly in the restaurant industry because of the economic downturn, and just encourage people to get out now that it's getting safer, or to get takeout and delivery at home if they're not ready for that, and just supporting these key jobs and industries.
Los Angeles isn't the only city hosting a restaurant week. Lauren, I understand there's a big food event happening where you are.
Thanks, Noah. Yes, it's a Food a Go-Go week here in Hawaii. The nonprofit celebrates its 1-year anniversary, helping the local food industry get back on its feet.
When the pandemic made Chef Chai close his doors, he started posting food tutorials and offered weekly Wiki boxes to take home. He is just one of 125 restaurants participating in the Food a Go-Go Restaurant Week.
It's a win-win for both because the restaurant offers such a good value to the menu, and for the people at home, they just go out to dinner with a lot of them, you're already going to go out anyway, but now you support in need community and you get a good price. So a lot of time people will go to the restaurant that they never tried before.
Only 12% of all food bought at grocery stores and restaurants are sourced locally. As an effort to increase local farming, people can bid online for gift cards from all participating restaurants. According to the chair of Food A Go-Go, he said 100% of the proceeds go toward agriculture education.
The real benefit of this is that the Hawaii Ag Foundation creates these starter kits for farming, and these starter kits are actually given to K-12 students in public schools to encourage them to learn about the different aspects of, how seeds work, how plants work, all the way up to high school where we do hydroponics and try to teach them about using those kind of products.
To support the restaurant industry, agriculture education, and my growling tummy, I'm ready to chow down on some Ono grinds.
Baseball fans are excited about the Dodgers' first home game Friday against the Washington Nationals. The major league team survived the pandemic, but the minors took a real hit. Annenberg Media's Tony Quach talked to one USC alum who knows all about that.
Check a second, here it comes. Ground ball towards third, fair ball. Ishikawa's got it. Throw low to first, it gets away. Korea ties the game.
That's the voice of Jason Schwartz, a sports play-by-play announcer and USC Annenberg alum.
Growing up, playing baseball was my life. It was my favorite thing to do. And I think when I realized at a point that, I wasn't going to be able to play forever, I was able to sort of gel this interest in journalism and my love for sports into sports broadcasting.
If you want to know what happened to minor league baseball during the pandemic, look no farther than this play-by-play announcer. He's been calling games with the Lancaster Jethawks since 2012.
Swinging a ground ball to the right side and through for a base hit.
That came to an end last year when the team was cut from the minors.
I spent 8 seasons there, and that was where I really learned how to become a play-by-play broadcaster and professional broadcaster. So I'll always hold Lancaster near and dear to my heart for that.
Swinging a line drive to left field, down for a base hit.
The Jethawks were not alone. 42 other minor league teams were cut during the pandemic. These teams and their fans never had a chance to say goodbye.
It was weird and it was hard. The one thing that made it easier is that I wasn't the only one going through it.
Basketball was the only sport he could call during the pandemic, and Jason did it with the Long Beach State men's basketball team.
And usually I'm courtside calling games when it comes to basketball. This year I was up above the stands. It doesn't really feel back to normal yet. It was great to be able to call games again, but until the fans come back, it's still going to feel a little different.
First doesn't end up
Jason Schwartz is scouting for his next baseball play-by-play
right center
opportunity.
field, long run for Rosario to the wall, looking up, it is gone!
Until then, he'll be watching this baseball season like many other die-hard fans, including myself. For Annenberg Media, I'm Tony Quach in Los Angeles.
What we can see from Tony, this has been a strange period for sports fans. Fans were craving March Madness after the NCAA tournament was canceled last year due to COVID-19. But after Baylor beat Gonzaga 86-70 last night, the tournament has finally come and gone. Until the championship game, Gonzaga was undefeated, including a dominant victory over the Trojans in the Elite Eight. This also included top prospect Jalen Suggs pulling up from near half court before draining a buzzer beater in overtime against UCLA.
We're all disappointed in here, but, as I told the guys, you make it this far and you're 31-0 going into the last 40 minutes of the season. There's absolutely nothing you should ever feel bad about. And they'll look back on this season as time passes as something just amazing.
One of the big storylines to come out of Gonzaga's run is the emergence of Jalen Suggs. USC's own Evan Mobley was projected as a clear number 2 pick, but after the tournament, some draft experts are beginning to change their tune. All right, I have to bring in my co-anchor Nathan Ackerman here. Now, Nathan, some draft experts are changing the standings with Jalen Suggs and Evan Mobley as far as where they'll go. What do you think?
So I think the reason why people are so high on Suggs, especially now, is what he did in the tournament, right? The shot against UCLA in the Final Four, scoring 22 points against Baylor in the championship game, and really everything he did up to that point too. But it's not like Evan Mobley was a slouch in the tournament himself, especially on the defensive end, rebounding. He scored when they need to. So I don't know if you can put too much stock into their tournaments alone when, you're sort of comparing the two. Right now, I still have Evan Mobley number 2 overall.
Awesome. I absolutely have to agree with you here. It's just nothing more than recency bias because Jalen Suggs hit that incredible once-in-a-lifetime shot against UCLA. Now, Evan Mobley, he's a unicorn. He is the unicorn. He's a defensive monster, and anyone who passes on him is going to be kicking themselves. Let's take a look at Houston, projected to go number 2. They just lost James Harden and could use Mobley as their star of the future to build around. Now, Nathan, I'm going to toss it over to you because I want to know what's going on with USC women's soccer.
USC soccer is catching fire at the right time. The Trojans picked up 2 shutout wins over ranked opponents this weekend, taking down number 20 Washington on Friday and number 21 Washington State on Sunday. Sunday's win was highlighted by the first career goal from freshman forward Angeles Escobar. It came 2 days after a hat trick by junior forward Penelope Hawking. USC has earned 5 straight clean sheet wins at home, and they've come on the strength of strong second half performances.
Honestly, most of it's energy and effort and recognizing where their outlets are and trying to take those things away so we can apply more pressure. And then with that, be able to attack them more often. So considering where we started to continue to find these shutouts and find ways to take care of home, that's important. Now we got to see if we can take it on the road and have similar performances as we play Stanford and Cal.
The Trojans are heading into the home stretch of the regular season schedule before the NCAA tournament begins on April 27th. They have just 3 games remaining, all against Pac-12 California schools. Up first is a Bay Area road trip this weekend to face Stanford and Cal. That's all for sports. Now back to news.
Tonight, we bring you our new segment, Tips from Trojans. USC alumni offer career advice at a time when many students are feeling overwhelmed and worrying about what's next. This week, we hear from Shannon Ryfin about her unusual career path. Shannon Ryfin graduated with a degree in broadcast journalism in 2016. After working in sports journalism and the film industry for a few years, her career took a major turn. Ryfin served in the Peace Corps in Tanzania for a year and says the experience was extremely rewarding. Now, she works with a nonprofit organization committed to promoting children's literacy. No matter what field you choose to work in, Ryfin reminds us that your degree does not always determine your career.
I think it's important to know that it's okay to not end up in the career that you thought you were going to end up in. It doesn't mean that your degree is any less worthwhile, and it doesn't mean that you are less worthwhile or that you've wasted money at all. We are all human and we change and our passions change, and that's okay. So I think it's important to really think about where your passions lie and go down that route.
Yeah, Lauren, it's so nice to hear those words of advice. This is definitely a bit of a stressful time right now to be looking, into the job market in the real world. And I know you're graduating in about a month from now. So how are you feeling about everything right now?
I'm certainly feeling a little nervous about it, but you're right. It was very encouraging to hear those words. Well, that's it for Annenberg TV News. Thank you so much for watching. I'm Lauren Teruya.
I'm Noah Camras. From everyone at Annenberg Media, have a great night.